welcome to another tips and tricks video from Switch. My name is Kent, and for this video we're going to cover some additional tips on how to handle and clear your extra trash on your Mac. In this case, cache or any files that be messing up. We're going to cover it right now. Let's get started. Okay, so right now what you're seeing is a clean installation of macOS Sierra 10.12, and as always I'll be using a couple of teaching aids. From time to time you can see me zoom in and zoom out. This is to focus your attention on areas of the screen that is important or of interest. Also, from time to time you can see that my screen have feedback to tell you that I'm actually clicking my mouse. So right now we're going to cover on how we can actually clear the cache or rubbish from your Mac. Now in macOS Sierra, if you go to About This Mac and you go to your storage, you can see that you have something called Manage here. If I click on Manage, as mentioned in previous tips and tricks video, it gives you a list of things you can do to help optimize the storage on your Mac. For example, you can say click Optimize for iTunes, as you can see over here, and it basically clears your iTunes of any watched iTunes movie, etc., but only if you actually do have an iTunes account. Most of the time, you'll be saying empty trash automatically, turn it on, and you can say that, review clutter, store in iCloud, empty the trash, so on and so forth. These are all the built-in and recommended method that any users, even you watching this, should be using. Having said that, now we're going to go into unsupported territory. If you're still watching this, please keep in mind that we are not liable for any damage that you might do to your Mac. Take it with a bit of advice. What I'm sharing with you is not recommended, but it's examples of what else you can do without the installation of third-party software. Okay? With that out of the way, let's go on. If you want to do some more action to clear any other rubbish that might exist on the Mac, here's something you can do. Let me just quit this first. Now, let me zoom in to the top left corner of the screen. All these are your menu bar items. Each has the usual things you can go to. The place that I want to show you is under Go. Notice that there's a list of locations you can go to, including computer, home, download, etc. Now, you will need to hold down the Option key on your Mac. I repeat, the Option key on your Mac. When you hold it down, you'll notice that a folder called the Library appears. Click on the Library. This is your user library. The library is literally, as its name suggests, a location where files and items and objects are stored that supports the use of your application. For example, your mail, your emails that you use in mail are stored here. If you back up your iTunes, your iOS devices, you back up them, they'll be stored here. Your calendar, they'll be stored here. Your address book, they'll be stored here. And of course, rubbish is also stored here. The folder we're trying to go into is called Cache, C-A-C-H-E-E. Do not touch anything else. Go inside Cache, and you notice that you have a lot of various files here. Now, the cache here refers to temporary files, files that your application will generate automatically every time they are launched. If you're using third-party application like Adobe Creative Suite, or maybe you're using Spotify, etc., chances are they'll create a folder and dump any type of files inside there for them to use and to load the application faster. So, why would you want to delete the cache? Well, if you're troubleshooting your Mac and you find there's something wrong with the application, usually we'll come to cache and we delete the specific application. This will force the application to create the cache again, but a new and clean one. In our case, we are trying to empty the rubbish. So, by clearing everything, you're forcing the application to regenerate, and if they are not being launched, you actually save space. You also remove any clutter that's stored from so many years of use of apps. So, what I'll do is I'll drag all of this to the cache, from the cache to the trash. Okay, once you're done, you should shut down your Mac and restart. Okay, so this is one location. Remember, the cache. Another location, still in the library folder, is your logs. Logs containing a lot of text files. These text files record what has happened to an application in your Mac and is used for troubleshooting purposes. Now, if you use your Mac for years, chances are your cache file could be a few hundred megabytes. You'll be surprised. And you will definitely have more than just these 4 items you see here on my screen. So, if you're not using it, definitely throw it to the trash. So, those are 2 locations that you can clear it. Now, there are more, but I would recommend starting from those. Okay? Now, again, disclaimer, it is at your own risk. So, if you're really scared, make sure you back up any critical files. Okay? Let's move on to something a bit more. Now, you'll notice there's a folder here in library called Saved Application State. As the name suggests, it saves what the application is like when you launch it. For example, if I launch my calendar, let me continue, and I move it to a specific location, say over here, and I quit the calendar, the save application state keeps a save state of that particular item or application. Depending on the application, you would have lots of folders here. And as so long as the application has saved your file somewhere and is not unsaved temporarily. Like for example, you launch a text editor. In this case, let me go to my applications. And let me just launch a text edit. Okay, so I'm going to create a new document. It's untitled, and I'll say, this is about temporary saved states. Okay, and I'm going to quit. Okay, so let me just save it somewhere. Desktop. Okay, quit. Okay, so it's not saved here, but sometimes it will appear here. Any application that hasn't saved the document, they would appear here. So if you delete it without saving, you lose that document. So be careful of that. So having said that, these are the places I want to cover for the user. Now let's click on Go again. Let's talk about what else could there be a cache. Again, the usual disclaimer applies. I'm going to go to Computer, I'm going to go to the hard drive, and I'm going to go to the library. Okay, so this is now a different location. This library is inside Macintosh HD library. The previous one that you saw was inside users, your user library. So here, it also has a cache folder. It also has a log folder. You can empty and delete these 2 parts, and it's good enough. Do not touch any other folder. And once you throw it into the trash, do not empty the trash yet. Instead, restart the Mac or shut down and relaunch your Mac before emptying. A last part, a little more drastic, again at your own risk, is under Computer, Hard Drive, System, Library, and Cache. Okay, same thing, move it into the trash. You might need to enter your password here. So, all these are temporary files. They will be regenerated once you relaunch or restart your computer. The purpose of this is to clear additional clutter, but remember, this is originally intended for troubleshooting purposes. But who knows, maybe it could help you in clearing any other rubbish or trash on your Mac. I hope that you find this useful. If you have any comments, please do give us your feedback. Like us and support us on social media. It could be Twitter, Facebook, so on and so forth. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned and goodbye.